One mini world, one creation dream.
The objectives for this class are going to be very easy, as we already work in the hard part, in the core part of our system. We are going to add just minigames, okay? I'm not going to teach you all the minigames that I made for this minicamp, because the time is not going to be enough. But I'm going to show you like different ways that you can do minigames. So I choose those that you actually choose by votation, but I give the priority for those that I'm going to teach you new ways to create the minimap, okay? So for this class, we are going to learn about to create 3 extra minigames. We already have 2 working. And finally, I'm going to show you and give you a sheet that you can use to edit your quality assurance. That is something that you have to start learning, okay? Quality assurance is something that most of the game creators are going to do. It's like an extra department. And what they do is to just have some quality guidance, but to be sure that the map has at least completed the basic things, okay? This is not, that doesn't mean that your game is going to be completely good if you have a good quality overall, but it's going to assure at least the 40% of the chances of have a successful map, okay? So the first one that we are going to learn, guys, is the bridge, okay? For those that didn't remember the bridge, let me switch back to MiniWord. I don't know what happened here. Seems that is another book, okay? So, in the game, Bridge is a game that was highly inspired into the Squid Games, okay? And how it works, guys. Basically what you have is this arena, or this area, in which, okay, let me enter here, let me cover the roof, in which actually players have like different glass blocks, and some of them are not going to be like a solid block, so if the player walks over that, one of the blocks can be breakable, and probably the player is going to fall, okay? So if you see, it's very similar to the game that is related to the how do you call it, to the Squid Games, but instead of choosing like 2 different sides to jump over and know which one is going to be breaked, on this one you have to walk all around the area, because this is not going to be like the exact game of the Squid Games. On this one you are going to have your own way to make the games, and these ways is to create an area, okay? So we are going to learn this one first. Very important, I remember that Zane was asking me for a question via Discord, and the question was, hey, how we are going to know which players are going to be eliminated? Guys, remember that in this map that I'm teaching you, the way that you can eliminate players is when the players become no stars. So every time that you play a game, let me just show you a real example, okay? Every time that you play a game, you will be able to collect stars. Okay? That's the way that all the rules are like meshed together. Like on all the games, you have to collect coins. This game is the number 3. And what you have to do is just to collect the coins. Every time that you die, sorry, the stars, you are going to lose 3 stars depending on the minigame, okay? And every time that you die, you are going to lose those stars. If the player has no stars, the player is going to be eliminated. That's a rule that I use to make the game a little bit funner, because it wasn't really funny when you die at the beginning, and it wasn't that enjoyable when I do the normal game, like the scrap games. Right now you are not going to see anything, because right now it's not like having the execution of the minimap, but right in some seconds, in 27 seconds, I will teleport it back here, and the game is going to start. So, very important saying, what you have to do is just the player that lose all the stars, that doesn't have any start, is going to be eliminated, And another way that you are going to be eliminated is that every 5 rounds you will teleport it to the elimination room, which is also your store. And under the player with less coins, with less stars is going to be eliminated. So check this, right? It's just the same room. Every time that you walk, you have to be worried because that could happen. As you see, I lose 3 stars. The stars are falling. And yeah, you will be able to pick stars. I have really bad luck. 2 times I have completely died just by walking around. Okay, and I completely think I'm going to be eliminated because I'm just dying again. Okay, so let's try to move in another area. As you see, I can walk over some blocks. Okay, but that's the game that we are going to learn. So the basic rule here is try to avoid for the players to be able to reduce the risk. Okay, so the players have to try to walk the less amount, because anytime that they walk in a specific area, the floor can break. Okay, and that's the game that we are going to learn how to do. I don't know if that answered your question, Saint. Just let me know. Okay, let's see. All right, I completely died. But just to show you that that example, okay? So let's see here. Let me check into the chat. Okay, so let's do this. Let me switch back to the presentation, okay? And on here, this is like how most of the minigames are going to work for our map. It's like just a reminder, okay? Remember, we got a folder for minigames and a folder for minigame loop, okay? This is very important. Those two need to be in different folders. Minigames is the game is where you can save all the triggers that are going to happen at the start of your minigame. And minigame loop is the triggers that control your game, okay? Most of the times, the trigger, whatever you would want to put to your game, are going to just work at the minigame start and are going to set up the info, set the rules, spawn the objects, turn the loops, and do all the initial things. And the loop that can be on or turn off, that can be also more than one, are going to control the rules. That's how it works. For this specific game, we need to do the next things. First, we need to create those objects. We are going to have 2 different blocks, an area, and also we are going to have a specific trigger that will help us out to create an easy system to create effects, okay? Now, for our game, specifically the triggers that are going to work, I'm going to teach you this later. First, let's create those objects, okay? So how it works for this specific minigame, okay? So on here, you are going to see blocks, but we have 2 different blocks, okay? First, we got one of the blocks that is going to be the solid block, the floor that is going to be the glass. But also we have a second block that is being called like breakable glass, okay? So let me show you here. We got the glass, the normal glass, that is going to be this first one, and the second one is break block, okay? So what is going to happen is that, let me show you the example here. This block, the one that is breakable, that is this one, you actually is going to be a solid block. As you see, I cannot walk through. But this one, the one that you can break, is completely like air, you can pass through, okay? And that it's very important, we have to create those 2 blocks. So for creating those blocks, what you are going to do is you are going to hit here. You are going to go to blocks and you are going to create a new one, okay? So just hit a new one, hit create, and in existing templates, you are going to choose glass, okay? Once you do that, you are going to have like this interface. Just put normal glass, and very important, guys, apart from normal glass, apart from this information, what you are going to do is you are going to change the blast resistance to -1, okay? Then the hardness needs to be -1 as always. And be sure that drop items is completely off. Just the collision setup as a solid. And you don't need to do anything else, just save that one. Then we are going to create another block, okay? The block is going to be called, and just do the same process, add a new block, add a new one, create existing template, just select the glass, back, and when you got that, you are going to rename it as a break block. Very important, those are going to be different blocks. The attribute settings are going to be blast resistance, -1, hardness, -1, but very important guys, on here you can see that it says air, okay? That's the most important part. The second one needs to be air. And just for you to have clear this, just give me a second, I want to show you how it works, okay? So I'm going to put for the second one, and you don't have to do this, okay? It's just me showing you how it works. Okay, I'm going to put red color in it. And then, apart from the red color, I'm going to change this, but don't worry, you don't have to do this. Apart from creating the block, it's just me showing you how the map is going to work, okay? Just for you to be able to see how it really works, okay? So let me exit and let me re-access here very quickly. All right, just a second. Have you seen my school? My school. I forgot how to you call to this in English. Well, my school something. Let's say like that. Sometimes I forgot some words in Spanish and some words in English. Okay, guys. So check that. If you see, this is the normal glass, and this is going to be the red glass. As you see, the game is going to create random points with the glass, and if I enter there, that's when I die. And it doesn't matter every time that we play the game, every time that we start the game, you are going to see that this is going to change. As you see, you can see that at the beginning of the game, this is going to be changed. The game is going to change those blocks randomly. And if you step over any of them, it doesn't matter if it's just this one, all the blocks around are going to be deleted, like this one, you see? Okay, so that's very important. That's what we are going to do. And I was just going to show you that, okay? So once more, what we are going to do right now is just going back to the information. So we already create those two blocks. Remember, this needs the breakable glass needs to be an air. Now we are going to create a defloor area, okay? So how do you create a defloor area? That's very easy, guys. What you need to do is just check how I built this map, okay? And this is very important, guys. Okay, right here, okay. So if you see, I put this specific border around the map, so the players will be able to move around the map without taking the risk, and just in the way if the star is here, so they will be able to just move from this solid part into the glass. So the only part that is going to be breakable is the glass, okay? So just around the map, be sure that you put a border so the players will have a safe part to walk in, okay? Once you do that, be sure that you fill all the part inside the map up with glass, okay? Remember, this is going to be, and this is very important, the glass that you create, okay? It's going to be the normal glass, okay? Once you have the normal glass created right here, what you are going to do is to create an area. So to create an area, just hit on here. You are going to have this new UE, and you are going to select the border or your glass. Remember, this is only the glass part. That is going to be very important. And just select all the way to the other side, okay? Once you have that arena created, or sorry, that area, just hit on here, and you will be able to rename it as a glass floor. Or you also can use the same minigame name. So this is going to be the bridge number 2. All right, I already have it right here. It's going to be this one. So I'm not going to use this one. I'm just going to delete it because I already got it right here, okay? Once you create your area, just go over here and we are going to create a small script, okay? So the script that we are going to use is useful triggers, and you will create a new script, a new trigger, sorry, that is being called not auto bar, it's going to be auto delete effects, okay? What is going to do this one is just going to delete any effects that you have in the map, so that is not going to stay there. So what happens is that every time that you create an effect through triggers, this effect is going to be in your map and it's going to take in memory, okay? So when you create a lot of effects in the area, as those are not going to be deleted, but you cannot see it, your map is going to be slow it down. What you are going to do is, every time that an effect is created, we are going to wait just 1 second and delete that effect, okay? With that, the effects are not going to be around your area. How do you do that? Just very easily, guys. Just put auto delete effects on there, just add a new one, and it's the event is going to be right here in special effects and in random position. Okay, guys, very important, just do it for the random position. Then we are going to pause 1 second. You know how to do that, guys. It's just by adding here, scrolling down, and go to the part that says timer and waiting time, okay? The waiting time is going to be 1 second. Then what we are going to do is to delete the effect. How do you do that? Just go to special effect. On here, on position, be sure that you select the one that says position at the end. There is one that says delete the special effect at the position. So you select that one, okay? And it's going to be type of a special effect in the event in event position. And that's it. With that, we have our previous requirements to create the minigame ready, okay? So, for Kenzie telling me how to create green light trigger, don't worry, I'm going to teach you that tomorrow. For today, we are going to learn another. But don't worry, tomorrow you are going to learn that. I know that that one is one of the most required, but also is one of the more tricky, okay, guys? And tomorrow I'm going to explain why. Now that we got this, we are going to go to the mini games and we are going to create our first trigger for this map, okay? So how it works, guys? This is going to have all the previous features for the minigame, okay? But in this one, apart from that, we are going to restore the blocks. What I mean when I mean restore the blocks, okay? As those blocks are going to be changed here, okay? Every time that we play the game, those are going to be in red. What we are going to do is that every time that the game starts, we are going to fill the holes with the glass block, and the blocks that was previously marked or changed into breakable block are going to be switched to normal blocks. That's why we use the area, okay? So what we are going to do on this, we are going just to go to the folder, remember, guys, and this is very important, the minigame folder, okay? In minigames folder, we are going to add a new event, okay? Or, well, actually we don't need to do any event. Just take your meteor room. You are going to copy and paste it into the same folder, and you are going to rename that one as the bridge, okay? Or whatever name you want to give it, okay? That's very important. And when a minigame changes, that's the event that you are going to have. You are going to have the timer time also into 0, okay? That is going to be this one. Remember, we already got this from the previous, when we copy meteor room. But very important, the only thing that you need to change in conditions is this one that says equals to 3, okay? Minigame, it's equals to 3. That's very important, okay, guys? Remember, once more, we got this, and as we got this, we need to add a registry, okay? So did you remember how to do the registration for your maps? Just stay in the center of your map, right here in my case. okay? Remember to just go here and take the coordinates -1, 10, and the altitude is going to be the number 3. You are going to move to main system, you are going to move to register, and you are going to do the map registration for this, okay? Remember that right now we should have 2 different minigames, okay? I'm going to add the new one. Remember, you can use just the same information that you got here. You just copy and paste it and you replace. The ID is going to be the number 3 as we got 1, 2, 3. Let me increase the font a little bit so you will be able to see better what I have in the screen, okay? So remember, we got the 1, 2, 3. ID is going to be the number 3. The minigame name needs to be inside the notation marks, so put the notation marks and put the name, in my case is going to be the bridge. Put the coordinates here, I already got it right here, but remember you can take this from just for your minimap. The spawn method for this one, as we want the players to spawn around the borders, because we don't want the players to spawn here because they can die, they can actually literally fall from here. But you are going to do is just to put the number 2 that is going to be around the corners, okay? Remember that? Remember that we learned that the last class, so the number on here, it's going to be 2. Remember, 1 is random position, 2 is going to be borders, and 3 is going to be center. And finally, where the coins are going to spawn, where the stars actually are going to spawn, it's going to be in any part of the map, so just put the number 1, okay? So right now we have the registration for the minigame, okay? That means that now players can be teleported there, but there is nothing that is going to happen more than the spawn the coins and the players, because we haven't complete setup as yet the trigger, okay? Now move back to the trigger that we just created, that is the bridge. Remember, we already got it. And remember, this ID needs to match with the one that you add in the register. So number 3 on the registers, number 3 on here. That's very important, guys. And then we are going to set up the rules. As we copy this, we need to change the rules for this, okay? So in this one, I'm not going to allow the player to jump because I want to avoid the players to avoid the obstacles. So as I don't want the players to jump, the jump force is going to be 0. The speed, I reduce it to 3, so the players are going to have like more tension. They are going to feel a little bit scared while they move in because they are moving really slow. Can move needs to be on true because we want the players to move. Can use items also needs to be true. Remember, in most of our maps, the true is going to be for the items, because if in your shop you add, as an example, a heal item like a first aid kit or a potion, the players will be able to use it. Player can attack it. I put it true, so players will be able to push each other. Can be attacked needs to be true, and always put can be killed in true, okay? Now, we got this. Of course, remember you can rename it here as a game rules. Game rules. Okay? That's it, okay? Now, for the description, guys, remember that you are going to put the instructions here. So, in my case, is avoid the breakable blocks, okay? And remember that this can be translated to different languages. So if you got this, remember that just by hitting translate, it's going to translate all to the different languages, okay? So remember that. Now, what we are going to do, as always, you are going to have everything up to this part, okay? I'm going to just hit here, but you are going to have also this one, okay? But it's going to have the method name, so we need to create that trigger. How we are going to do it? We are going to move to the folder loop, okay? And for this one, we have 2 different loops. The first loop is the one that plays the blocks, okay? So this is going to work only at the beginning. Once we start the game, we are going to repeat this a lot of times, and we are going to search for different blocks, and we are going to create an area that can be breakable. The second part is the one that is going to actually break the loops and the blocks, and that is going to be a loop. Remember, those two are going to be in the minigame loop folder because with triggers we are going to automatically turn off this. That means that this is not going to take memory and the game is going to run much faster. It's a trick that you will learn. So move to minigames loop folder, okay, and we are going to create a new trigger. A new trigger is going to be down below here. Okay, just hit create a new trigger. The trigger, the first one is going to be named as the bridge loop. As always, we put just the same name, but we put a loop at the end, okay? And what we are going to do for this one? As you see, it's very simple. We don't have like an event. We don't have a condition. The only thing that we have is an action, okay? And we are going to use something that is being called loops, okay? What you are going to do is you are going to tell the game how many times it's going to repeat this. How do you do that? First, we need to add the trigger. The trigger just needs to be an action. What you are going to do is to add an action, and the action is going to be replace blocks in an area. How you can find it? Just go here, scroll down to blocks, and be sure that you select the one that says replace blocks in an area, okay? Because you also have this one, but remember, this one is going to be the one that it's going to work. Once you select this one, you are going to have this. In the first spot, you need to put the block that we are going to search for. So this is going to be normal glass. Remember, your floor is normal glass. And in the third part, you need to put the new block, okay? So it's going to change those blocks for the new one, okay? In the center, you need to select where it's going to do it. So what we are going to do is just to select function library, convert location into a region. So that's going to allow us to choose a point and just tell, okay, starting this point, create an area that is going to be temporary area from one block to the right, one block to the left, one block north, one block south, and create a block around that area, or create that area, okay? So we are going to select that one. On there, we are going to have also the first part, and where is the magic starts, okay? So we are going to select a random location in an area. Once we select random location in an area, you are going to select the area that you just created for this. In my case, it's going to be bridge number 2. And just put 1 by 1 by 1. Okay, that means that it's going to create an area that is going to be 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks. Because remember, it's the block that you created, and 1 to the right and the south, 1 to the left and the north and the south, 1 to the east and the west, and 1 up and 1 down. Okay. And finally, it doesn't matter which one you put here, just put whatever name here, right? That's going to be the first one, okay? Then what we are going to do is to create another new one, but the name for this one is going to be the bridge loop and the number 2. What it's going to do, the number 2, once more, is the one that is going to break the floor, okay? And very careful, guys. With this, you can do a lot of games in which player can break some blocks if the player walks over the wrong block, okay? How do you do this? Once you create it, remember, you are going to put the actions. The action is going to be right here, and it's going to be moving, okay? This is going to detect when the players move one block away. Then you are going to add this next conditions. First one, you are going to go to math, numerical comparison. And in numerical comparison, you are going to select minigame. Remember, that has to have the same name. Needs to be equals to the number 3. Remember, number 3 is the ID of our map, okay? So remember, always match the game ID. So the game is going to know that you are playing the right game. And here is where we are going to check which is the block that the player is walking over, okay? So if the player is not walking over the breakable block, it's not going to happen anything. But if the player does, what it's going to do is that the block is going to be breaking. How do you do this? Just add an action here, just scroll down to block, and very specific, select individual block, okay? It's around this area, and it's okay. Let me do a double check here. Yes, it's this one. I want to be sure. So you have to select this one that says select block type in a specific location, okay? Because we are going to detect the location of the player. When you have that information, and here we need to choose which location. So we cannot choose literally the location where the player is located, because the player is located one block above the block that we want to check. We need to check the block under the player, okay? So for this, we are going to use that function. The function allows us to change or to check the location that is the player, but we can choose whenever we want to move. So select location. Let me use my glasses because I didn't see it that far. Okay, much better. So just choose location offset, okay? And when you choose location offset, expand, and you are going to put in the first one function library, player, and player location. Once more, expand, and be sure it says players in triggered event, okay? And check this. To check the floor, you don't need to change anything here or here. Just change on here and put minus 0.5. If you put -1, it's not going to detect actually the block under the player, it's going to detect the 2 blocks under the player. So just select 0.5, okay? This also works because if the player is jumping, it's going to detect almost the floor just below the player, okay? Put yes, and on here you need to go to your function library, sorry, not your function, to your template library, and you need to scroll down and select the breakable block, okay? That's very important. And that's it. With that, our game is going to detect that the player is walking over the block that is not, okay? First thing that I add is a sound. You just go here, once more, sound effect, and player turn on effect. The sound that I'm playing on the player, and this is very important, just 1 second, it's going to be this one. Okay, sorry. As you see, it's behavior number 3, that is the breaking block. Once more, if you check the previous classes, you know how to do this, a random sound. I didn't put it here because it was like too much to teach you. Be sure that the loop is in false. Then adds an effect. Remember that we add a trigger that is going to auto-delete the effect, so you don't have to worry for that, for deleting that after. So just play a special effect on position. The effect that I put it on is explosion 3. Once more, I'm going to show you that one, that is this one. But you can use whatever special effect you want it. Remember, always put, when you are giving feedback to the players, a sound and also add a special effect. Okay? Then you are going to replace the blocks in the floor. So for this, what you need to do is to just go here, goes to blocks, and on here you have also 2 options. Once that says replace block and replace blocks in an area. Remember, we are going to choose replace blocks in an area. And we are going to replace break blocks, okay? And we are going to convert a region in an area. So just select convert area into region, select event position, and select 1, 1, 1, 1 block, okay? Change it to no block. On here you have that option, okay? Function library, where it's that one. Okay, there is an option to put here no block. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that. Guys, before continuing, you need to put another block, okay? So just key on blocks, create another block. The block right here is going to be called, well, we just created, but when you create it, be sure that you select wherever you want it. And when you create a dot block, you are going to change the name to no block, okay guys? The model for this one, it's going to be right here on general. You scroll down and you are going to see the arrow. This model is going to be invisible when you are playing, okay? That's going to be very important. Attribute -1, hardness -1, and collision is going to be air, okay? So we are going to replace the blocks on that area with no block, okay? With that block, okay? And it needs to be facing east, okay? And finally, we are going just to copy and paste, and we are going to change this. So in the previous one, we placed break block. Now we are going to select the normal block too, okay? Custom and normal block, okay? And that's it. With those two triggers working, remember that those are going to be like this. Very important. You are going to just take out of the two check marks and you are going to go back to the bridge. Then we are going to just do the next thing. We are going to select here, trigger. Okay, remember that this is going to be a trigger that is going to be working when we have the loop. And we are going to select the loop number 2. Remember the loop number 2 is which is going to handle if the blocks are going to break, okay? On here, it's going to work, but we need another problem, or we have another problem. When the game starts, we need to just restore the arena, because probably the game can be chosen more than one time. So what you are going to do is that we are going to add another one, okay? And it's going to be just the same, almost the same triggers, but what you are going to do is just go to here, once more, select replace blocks in area, but we are going to do it backwards. So we are going to take break blocks, and we are going to select the arena, or the area, sorry, that we just created. So remember, I already got it here, it's bridge 2. And we are going to change break block for glass normal. So we are going to switch back everything to normal glass. Okay, once you add that one, just copy and paste it, okay, in the same script. And in the second one, we are going to just do the same, but we are going to turn no block in the same area for glass, okay, for the normal one. We are going to restore all the arena. Then we are going to just copy this one, okay? We are going to paste it, and we are going to turn or change the switch for the normal one, not for this one, just for the normal. That is going to be bridge loop. Remember, not this one. We are going to change the bridge loop 1, and we are going to turn it around once more, okay? And finally, what we are going to do is a loop, okay, guys? This is something that is going to repeat a specific trigger more than one time. For this, just go here. You're going to select triggers, and you are going to select a loop operate trigger, okay? This is the first time that we see this on the MiniCamp. On here, you need to choose the minimum amount of times that is going to be repeated. And here you have the maximum amount, okay? So as an example, if I put 2 on here, it's going to repeat in between 2 to 7 times the next trigger. And on here we need to choose the trigger. The trigger that we are going to choose is MiniGames loops once more, and the one that says the bridge loop, okay? The one that is going to change the blocks or turn normal blocks into the blocks that we want. And that's it. Right now, as we add this, you will be able to test your map, okay? If everything is going okay, if everything is going right, you will be able to play this. And remember later, and this is very important, because right now we are going to see in the screen like the different blocks. Remember that at the end we are going to change that block for the same model of this one, okay? So remember, they need to be the same, so just go here once more to your map and edit the break block and just put the same model of your normal glass block, okay? Just save, and now it should be working fine, okay? Okay, let me show you the result now, okay? Alright, so Kenzie is asking me for a private movement. What do you mean with that? As you see right now, you cannot see which one is different. You have to just test your look. Probably not going to fall, but yeah, probably yes. And remember, don't make this very hard, because if you put a lot of blocks that can be breakable, probably it's going to be boring for the player, because the player is going to die too much, okay? And that's it, guys. We got our first minigame.